headlines on the first day of the Lunar New Year. Prayers mark the start of the Year of the Dragon as 2 babies are born on the stroke of midnight. Pakistan appears heading towards a coalition government after no party wins a majority in a general election. And Palestinians in the southern Gaza town of Rafah are worried following signs of an Israeli ground assault.
At the stroke of midnight, hundreds of devotees rushed into Wang Taisin Temple to light the first incense sticks and pray for good fortune in the Year of the Dragon. Actress Lana Wang, who is famous for dressing up according to the Chinese zodiac during her temple visits, came as Xiao Long Nu, a character in the novel The Return of the Condor Heroes. She hoped for good fortune for everyone. This man showed up as the main character in the anime Dragon Ball and prayed for good health for the city. Food business operator Kwan lined up at the temple 12 hours before midnight so that he would be able to burn the first incense stick, as he has done for the past 20 to 30 years. Hospitals delivered the first batch of dragon babies. Miles was the first arrival, the second child in his family. He weighed 3.1 kilograms at birth in the Chinese University's medical center in Shatin. Also arriving when the clock struck 12 was a girl in St. Teresa's Hospital. She is the firstborn in her family and weighed 3.2 kilograms. 3 other babies were also born in the early hours. Many Hong Kongers marked the first day of the Lunar New Year by taking part in an age-old tradition, tossing joss papers at the wishing trees in Lam Tsuen. It was the first time for some children who wished for a fruitful year. Chief Secretary Eric Chan, who officiated at the opening ceremony of the Lam Tsuen Wishing Tree Festival, said the new night market in the Taipo village will boost the festive vibes. Janice Yu, Cable News. The Immigration Department expects around 7.5 million people to pass through all Hong Kong's entry points during the 4-day Lunar New Year holiday. By 10 a.m., 144,000 travelers had crossed all the city's borders, with departures accounting for 107,000 of that number. Most departures were at the airport, from where 25,000 people flew out. West Kowloon Station was packed with mainland tourists arriving to celebrate at least part of the festival in Hong Kong. Most of them revealed that they were here for a day trip before moving on to mainland provinces or abroad for more sightseeing. Some mentioned that they came to Hong Kong specifically to watch the New Year night parade. The spectacular event in Tsim Sha Tsui resumed tonight after a 4-year break because of the pandemic. At the airport, many tourists arrived for a flavor of the biggest festival on the city's calendar.
Seeing some cool stuff. It's Chinese New Year, so that's super exciting. Is it Year of the Dragon? Yes, which is my sign, so that's really exciting for me here.
Hong Kongers going overseas for the holiday said they were not too worried about spending too much money because it's the first time they are able to travel abroad since COVID. There were long queues at check-in counters and the departure hall. The Shenzhen Bay checkpoint stayed opened overnight for the convenience of revelers, but not many people were seen there last night. Those who did cross the frontier for family reunions were relieved that they could return whenever they wanted, instead of having to make a dash before the usual closing time at midnight. Janice Yu, Cable News. There was a light shower as Lunar New Year flower markets across the city closed early this morning after 6 days of business. This was the first time since the pandemic that the festive attraction included stalls selling cooked food and merchandise. The gloomy weather did not deter the crowds. Revelers left Victoria Park, site of the biggest fair, clutching orchids and other flowers to brighten their homes and bring good fortune. As the market closed, vendors gave away flowers to reduce waste and save them the trouble of taking them away. Still, unsold flowers lay scattered all over the pitch. Volunteers from the Food and Environmental Hygiene Department collected the discarded flowers and sent them to hospitals and healthcare organizations as a festive gesture. Cleaners were kept busy picking up litter and making sure that the football pitches were ready for matches on New Year's Day. Environment Minister Tse Chin-wan visited them early this morning and thanked them with sweets. Janice Yu, Cable News.
The traditional lion dance ushered in the Year of the Dragon in the Dongcheng district of Beijing. A martial arts routine followed with performers showcasing some amazing acrobatic skills. Fun and games were a part of the festivities, which were most enjoyed by children. Other parts of the capital staged similar events. Dragon dance performances at the Dongyu Temple in Chaoyang district drew large crowds. Large-scale public events had been called off in Beijing for the past 4 years due to the pandemic, so the celebrations were more enthusiastic this year. Our root is the spirit of the dragon, which has seen the nation flourish for more than 5,000 years, said this man. Temple fairs are a centuries-old tradition in China, and visiting one during the Lunar New Year is considered an auspicious start. Sachin Katvi, Cable News. With almost all the votes counted after Thursday's general election in Pakistan, no party has won a clear majority in the 266-member National Assembly. Observer groups put the turnout at 47%, or roughly 60 million of the 128 million registered voters. Candidates linked to jailed former Prime Minister Imran Khan and his Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf party won 92 seats. The party was banned from contesting the election, prompting its members to stand as independent candidates. Khan is in jail after being convicted on several charges, which he says were politically motivated. Coming in second is three-time former Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif. His Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz secured 71 seats. Bilawal Bhutto Zardari of the Pakistan People's Party split the pie further, winning 54 seats. Smaller parties and other independent candidates took 36 seats. The final official results have yet to be announced, but a coalition government seems to be the most likely option. Sharif and Bhutto Zardari, the son of assassinated Prime Minister Benazir Bhutto, have reportedly agreed to form a unity government. However, it will take a while before any group establishes a clear majority. Sachin Katvi, Cable News.
Palestinians in the overcrowded town of Rafah in southern Gaza are bracing themselves for an Israeli assault. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu ordered his troops to evacuate the Palestinians as he stepped up his offensive against Hamas. Where shall we go? Asked Nahid Abu Asi. He vowed to resist any attempt to send him across the border to Egypt, saying he would rather die in Gaza. Already 28,000 Palestinians in Gaza have been killed since Israel retaliated for a Hamas attack in October. Amid fears of more casualties, Israel's staunchest ally, the United States, warned that a ground offensive in Rafah would lead to a disaster. The warning was echoed by the United Nations.
We are extremely worried about the fate of civilians in Rafah. People need to be protected, but we also do not want to see any forced displacement, forced mass displacement of people, which is by definition against their will. The congestion in Rafah has reached a point where normal routes are blocked by tents set up by families seeking any flat, clean surface available. In the last 3 months, the city has produced the equivalent of a year's worth of garbage. That's according to what municipal authorities are telling us. The scarcity of food, clean water, health services, and sanitation facilities have led to an outbreak of preventable diseases.
There's renewed concern about U.S. President Joe Biden's age as he seeks a second term in the White House. This comes after a report on his handling of secret documents questioned 81-year-old Biden's mental fitness. His opponent in November's election is likely to be former President Donald Trump, who is 77.
Both of the presumed party nominees are going to be men who are over the age of 75 years old. So I think there will probably be more attention on the vice presidential candidates, and there may be some voters, particularly those in the middle, who are going to make a calculation on who would they be more comfortable with assuming power if the president can't continue in his capacity as president of the United States, if he dies or if he gets too sick.
Biden insists that his memory is fine, and his Democratic colleagues have rallied around him, but doubts remain.
When he talks and I can't understand what he's saying, and when he gets lost in his words, I'm really concerned with that, of not being able to communicate and not being able to know what he's talking about sometimes.